again, everybody, and welcome to the Southern Illinoisans Pigskin Picks. I'm Scott Meese, along with Les Winkler. It's been a few weeks here, but we're at week 8 now, so we're almost to the finish line. Just your basic thoughts on what's going on throughout the year, I guess.
It's crazy. First of all, it's hard to believe it's week 8. It seems like just yesterday we were out there for the opener in shorts and sweating. But we spend most of our time dodging raindrops on Friday night this year. It's been unbelievable. It's been a surprising year. There's some teams that have come on that I didn't see coming. There's some other teams that I thought were going to be dominant that are struggling a little bit.
We got 3 teams that are 7-0: Centralia, Chester, and Benton. We'll be talking about Benton a little bit later on, but I'm surprised we've got 3 teams still undefeated. And I think Centralia and Chester for sure are going to run the table. And if Benton can beat Harrisburg, they'll beat Carlisle in week 9. They'll run the table.
Yeah, and Centralia's going to have to. Centralia's opponents for the last 2 weeks are not the strongest teams on their schedule. So even with Society possibly sidelined with a bum ankle, they could pull that off. I really like the Chester team. They're quick and they come at you. Haven't seen Benton play yet, but that is going to be a big game in Harrisburg Friday night.
Let's get it going here. Carbondale at Marion. This is always fun, and last year Marion won the conference, but their loss was to Carbondale. The Terriers are 4-3. Marion's 5-2, coming off a loss. What are your thoughts on this one?
It's a pretty interesting game. I don't think either team is at the top of its game right now. I do think that overall Marion's just got a little more to offer. So and especially being in Marion, I look for Marion to win this game. Carbondale actually played pretty well against Althoff last week, but they just really struggled to get anything going offensively. They played a pretty good defensive game, but just really struggled on the wet field to try to turn the corner on some of their misdirection and wide runs. But I'm looking for Marion.
I think Marion too, and even though their quarterback Lewis did not play much in the game against Centralia, he's been injured. I don't know if he'll play this week. I still think they're going to be too much at home with their spread offense. I think they've got a lot of talent there still this year. Big Black Diamond game. Vienna Goreville's 5-2, so they're probably already in the playoffs. At El Dorado, 4-3. They've kind of stumbled here recently. They've had a lot of injuries, but El Dorado's got to either beat Vienna Goreville or Cesar, or they're not going to make the playoffs either. What are your thoughts on this one?
I like Vienna Goreville. This is a big, strong football team. They've got some big, hard-running running backs. They just don't have that breakaway speed. That if they had a couple guys who were burners in the backfield, this would be a very difficult team to beat because they're big and strong. They create some holes for those running backs, and I think that they're big enough that they're just going to give El Dorado a little more than they can handle. I look for Vienna to win this game, and what should be, since I'm covering it, hopefully a very quick ball game because the football's not going to be flying around very much.
If it's not done by 8:57, it's not right. But also, Vienna Goreville, their 2 losses: a 1-point loss to Carmine on the road, and then I think they've played Chester better than any. You saw that,
right,
better than anybody. They were only down a touchdown late in the game to them.
A couple turnovers really killed Vienna in that game, and they could very easily be 6-1 or 7-0, and. They played Chester tougher than anybody else this year.
I'll go with Vienna Goreville as well. They're playing some really good football, but El Dorado's going to be tough to beat at home, and especially when they know they've got to win. They're kind of backed into a corner here. The big game in the Ohio division of the River to River is for the conference championship. Benton is 7-0, 4-0. Harrisburg 6-1, 4-0. I imagine there's going to be an enormous crowd for this football game. What are your thoughts?
Well, last year's game was a little interesting at the end. Hesitate to use the word controversial because that was controversial last year. But I actually haven't seen either team play this year. Just haven't covered either one of them. Harrisburg's at home. I'm just going to go with them simply because Harrisburg's got some very good athletes. But Benton's played very well all year too. That's kind of a flip of the coin.
I think these teams are pretty close to even. I think either team could win it. Like you, since Harrisburg's at home, I'll go with them, which I'm sure means Benton will, of course, win now.
Sure.
So I think it's going to be a great game. Both teams have big offensive lines. They're not going to be able to just dominate like they have against some teams because they're both good up front. They've both got some pretty good skill players. Probably the game of the night in the area, the game with the most interest.
Yeah, I would think so.
Final game, another big one. Anna Jonesboro 6-1 at Carterville 4-3. AJ's only loss was to DuQuoin at home. by a point where they missed a field goal, which was about the length of an extra point. To lose that one, Carterville coming off a big win over Sparta, which everyone expected. Your thoughts on this one? Kind of, you look at Carterville. I believe they've got West Frankfort in Week 9, which if they beat them would be a 5th win. You got to have 6 to be sure you're in. That's this game for Carterville.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
It is a must-win game for Carterville. I did a little research last week on playoff points, and Carterville's not sitting real well right now for playoff points. So this is a must-win for them. How far that kind of emotion and that kind of focus can take you, I don't know. Anna Jonesboro is very good. Brett has just built a tremendous program down there. I think it's going to be hard for the Lions, even at that new athletic facility over there.
I'm going to go with AJ too, just based on the fact that I think they've got a better defense than Carterville does. I think both teams can score plenty of points, but I think AJ's a step ahead in the defense, and I think that should get it done. Final thoughts? I know it's always interesting here when the playoffs are announced, and that'll be here in about a week and a half. Usually on our end, it's please don't send anyone 5 hours away from here, which of course always happens. What are your thoughts on the season coming to an end here?
We still got a lot of teams on the bubble. I mean, there's some people who are very close, but they still need to win 1 or maybe 2 games to get in. The Diamond has been very interesting this year. Of course, if you go 5-4 in the Diamond, you're virtually assured of a playoff spot. So there's still some teams mathematically alive, even though maybe the schedule says it's going to be tough for them. But now, in the end, we're going to have 10 or 11 teams, maybe 12, 13 in the playoffs again, like we normally do. It's just going to be interesting to see how far they go this year. There is not a dominant team in Southern Illinois.
Outside of possibly Centralia.
Right, and Chester could be. It just depends how the pairings break.
Yeah, and I mean, if Chester would get stuck with DuQuoin or Althoff, that's not a good draw for them.
No.
And both of those, DuQuoin's already got 2 losses. I think they'll win out, but still, I think with teams dropping down, that would be, for as good a season as Chester's had, you don't want to draw a South 7 school
Right.
in the 2A playoffs.
Well, and then you look at a team like Carmi. Carmi is probably going to finish out the season and make the playoffs, but Chase Saylor, their very good junior quarterback, is out for the year. So you just wonder, how can they rebuild an offense around someone else when he was such the centerpiece, and how far can they get? So it's always interesting.
All right, that about wraps it up. Join us back here for Week 9. That'll be the last week of the regular season. Thanks for watching.